When I'm dividing fractions, I can do it two different ways. For example, for our first one, I'm seeing how many times can 3/4 go into 6/8. And I see that 3 and 4 are both multiples of 6 and 8. So what I can do is I can rewrite this to say 6 divided by 3 is also the same as 8 divided by 4. And when I divide 6 divided by 3, I'm going to get 2. And 8 divided by 2, or 8 divided by 4 is also 2. So I'm just left with 1. Because 2 over 2 simplifies to 1. For our second example, we can follow the same way. 2 and 4 are both factors of 4 and 8. So 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So I'm going to get the answer of 1. For our next two examples, I want you to go ahead and pause the video and try them on your own, using the same method that I just used on the other slide. So for our first example, example number 3, I'm going to get 3 divided by 1, which equals 3, over 4 divided by 2, which equals 2. So I'm getting 3 halves, which is going to simplify to 1 and 1/2. And this answer tells me that 1/2 can go into 3/4, 1 1/2 times. For example number 4, I'm getting that 3 divided by 1 equals 3. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So I'm getting the final answer of 3. So 1/4 goes into 3/4 3 times. Sometimes I come along fractions that do not have similar factors, and I can do a method that's called keep, change, flip. And this method tells me that I'm going to keep my first term, so I'm going to keep 4/5. I'm going to change that that division sign to a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to flip the fraction 8/9 to be 9/8. I'm taking the reciprocal. And now I'm just going to multiply like normal fractions, and so I'm going to multiply my numerator, so I'm going to get 36 over 40 after I multiply my denominators. And that's going to simplify to 9/10. So for our second example, I'm going to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the 5/6, change the division to a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to flip 2/3 to be 3/2. I'm going to multiply my numerators, which I get 5 times 3 is 15, 6 times 2, which is 12, and 12 goes into 15, 1 and 3/12, which will simplify to 1 1/4. When dividing with mixed numbers, I want to change that number into an improper fraction. So I'm going to change 3 1/3 into an improper fraction, and I'm going to get 10/3. So I get 2/3 divided by 10/3. And then I can follow along with my typical way of how I would divide fractions. So I'm going to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep 2/3, change that division sign to a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to flip to 10 or 3/10, and I'm going to get 6/30, which will simplify down to 1/5. Go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. So I'm going to get 5 divided by 4/3. This is going to be 5 over 1 because any whole number is always over 1. and I'm going to get times 3/4 after I flip it, and I'm going to get 15/4, and 14 will go into 15 3 times, and then I'm left over with 3/4. For our last example, we have -3/4 divided by 1 1/2. That 1 1/2 is going to become 3 1/2. So I have -3/4 divided by 3/2. So -3/4 times 2/3 equals -3 times 2 gives me -6. 4 times 3 gives me 12. So I get -1/2 as my final answer.